So we need the DPRK to come to the table for talks. We're ready to talk anytime they'd like to talk. But they have to come to the table, and they have to come to the table with a view that they do want to make a different choice. In the meantime, our military preparedness is strong.
Well, for more on this, I am joined by Joseph Kim in Seoul and Kevin McAleese in Washington. Joseph, the US, or Tillerson, says that he's ready for dialogue, but this is Kim Jong-un we're talking about. Do you think that Pyongyang is really ready for that kind of negotiation for talks?
Well, just before Tillerson made those comments regarding being ready, the U.S. being ready for dialogue with North Korea, the North Korean state media came out and said that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said that he would bolster the nuclear deterrence of the country to its fullest and make it one of the strongest nuclear powers in the world. So it does seem that despite what's going on, the special envoy, the UN official going to North Korea, having dialogue with North Korean officials, and dialogue requests by South Korea, that North Korea will not give up its nuclear weapons. Now, many analysts in regards to this, however, are saying that North Korea is doing this in order to get to the dialogue table with the United States. And with all these missile tests, as well as its 6 nuclear tests, it does seem that North Korea is closer to achieving what it wants and building up a nuclear deterrence that many have to recognize.
Joseph, do you think then that this could go some way to diffusing tensions in the region?
Well, as mentioned, the envoy from the United Nations visiting North Korea said some positive things in regards to his visit. He said that they had a 15-hour discussion, and in that discussion, the United Nations as well as North Korea both agreed that they needed to prevent war amid this rising tension on the Korean Peninsula. So we do see that there is something that's happening in regards to dialogue as well as a possibility to lowering tensions. And this visit is the first official visit by a top official since 2011. So we're seeing strides as well as something that's been said by Tillerson in regards to a no preconditioned dialogue talks with North Korea. But something we also have to keep in mind is that this administration in the United States, in the White House, has been very sporadic in terms of what one diplomat says versus what U.S. President Donald Trump says. So in regards to the statement by Tillerson, the White House did say, however, that the president's views on North Korea have not changed and that North Korea is acting in an unsafe way. Now, this is very ambiguous. This does have to be cleared up, but it does seem that for the time being, some tensions have been de-escalated for the time being.
Thanks so much. Now we're going to move on to Kevin McAleese, who is in Washington, D.C. Kevin, as we mentioned, Trump has really had some tough talk toward Pyongyang. Do you think he and Tillerson are on the same page with this, or is this Tillerson going rogue?
Well, I think time will tell, but certainly Rex Tillerson, speaking just down the road here in Washington, D.C. at that think tank earlier today, seemed relaxed and at ease. There was a sort of informal tone to this speech he was giving earlier when he did say, you know, we're changing our approach to North Korea. We're going to strip away those preconditions because we believe that's more reasonable. And if we're going to get to the negotiation table, then we need to start making baby steps instead of making these strong demands against Kim Jong-un's regime, because thus far it hasn't really got the United States anywhere. They have those tougher UN sanctions in place. They know they've got more cooperation from China, but still North Korea has been escalating its missile capabilities, its nuclear program, and that's exactly what the United States is trying to avoid. So this was Rex Tillerson today saying that this is going to be our path possibly to diplomacy. And yes, it does, according to the US Secretary of State, have the backing of the president. But we'll have to wait and see, because obviously he has contradicted his top diplomat in the past.
And Kevin, what is Washington's long game here? What does Washington want from Kim Jong-un, want from Pyongyang?
Well, the stated goal is to see the dismantling of North Korea's nuclear program and its missile activity. There was a recent test by Pyongyang, which some experts believe was an intercontinental ballistic missile capable of hitting the mainland United States. In particular, Washington, D.C. Was mentioned as a target within range. So that is ultimately what this US administration is trying to avoid, is the outbreak of nuclear war on the peninsula, where, of course, you have those key US allies in Japan and South Korea. So that is the ultimate goal of this administration, is to ramp down these provocations, to pull Pyongyang to a negotiation table with the assistance of China, which of course is the only considerable trade partner, economic partner of North Korea, and key in bringing them to the table. So that's basically what this administration is trying to do, but this remains the biggest foreign policy challenge for Donald Trump and his team, and there's no quick fix solution here.